Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D Campaign 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party successfully formed a hesitant partnership with the Bandit Kingdom to Bedra, working with the thieving nobles. And the nobles of the Bandit Kingdom, as a side note. um, uh, you formulated a plan to infiltrate the Summer Ball, an event that at the time was taking place a couple weeks ahead. You spent some time at the city getting prepared for your next move, and traveled with the bandit nobles to the Humor Empire city of Mercurial, a empire formed of the local giant and ogre territories that is currently playing host to the summer ball that you all know is also containing the membership of the Scar Concord, the antagonistic force that has been behind the disasters that have been plaguing you since you first arrived at the Shadow Lily city of Perha. You guys managed to enter the city relatively unannounced and parted ways with the Debadran nobility and arrived at Nortwix. Zephyr has already deposited the party's smuggled in inventories, and the party has just arrived outside. Their disguise is fading as the Debadran nobles parted ways with them. There is another 3 or 4 days before the ball begins proper. Zephyr, you are currently coming downstairs from the rooms that you have rented in Nortwix, and Lucien and Gil. You currently are standing outside the tavern that is bustling with cheer and activity, completely unaware at the moment that a potential ally may be waiting for you inside. With that being said, Lucien and Gil, what would you like to do?
Shall we go in?
All right, let's go in. She's gonna give him a slight glance, like she was not expecting that, but she won't say anything.
And what did he say?
He's opening the door for me.
Oh. All right.
Come closer. I don't think they can hear you.
Yeah. They're gonna hear me fine.
Yeah, it just cut out slightly. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
All right. Zephyr, as you're coming downstairs, you see your allies enter Nortwix. However, Raccoon, seeing as you are not yet acquainted with the party, you see the door opens and you see two very beautiful in their respective ways elves enter Nortwix. One of them is a female elf with flowing red hair and a beautiful green dress, and the other is a very masculine and handsome beast of an elf, but also very fine, dressed to the nines.
He looks also very
So she has come back downstairs from where she was with the other dude?
Mm.
Okay. So she says, "Welcome to Nortwix. Someone will be with you in a moment."
Thank you, dearie.
I don't think I've ever even seen a goblin.
Oh. Yes, they're wonderful little creatures.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard that they're sneaky though.
Not really.
This entire time, Raccoon's just kind of like pitter-pattering around, being basically like a bus boy for Lorcan.
This one's pretty cute though.
Yeah, but very good workers.
Wonder if that's thing. This one was just bracelet.
No, they.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's a little fishy for me. I don't think I believe that.
I didn't say who they pleased.
Maybe themselves. At least that's what I've been told.
Time.
Can Raccoon hear all of this that they're talking?
Yeah, and I was going to mention, and you can see Lorikine like leaning over the bar, having returned to it. Since you're back to your post, so he returns to his. Just kind of watching them with a just kind of head tilt and a smirk.
Is this your goblin?
They're not
I don't know.
Your goblin?
We have properties where I come from. This is normal.
but they're not alive.
No, I mean there are slaves. It's a perfectly natural thing. You should know this. You're a noble.
We don't have slaves. We have paid servants.
Well, I mean they're slaves, they're servants. Same difference, except for you get paid. I mean, even slaves get paid, but very minimal.
Lucian.
At this point, Raccoon probably coming back up to Lorcan to get another mug for another customer or something. Says, "We are very good workers. Yes, that is very true. But if anything, Lorcan is more mine than I am his."
The two of you entering see the very handsome elf running the tavern while the goblin serves the drinks to the giants and ogres at the tables, and he just gives a smile and a nod. Yes, referring to Raccoon as mine is a bit of a stretch of wording.
Told you.
Lucian will kind of give a shrug. Like I said, that's perfectly natural. Let's take it.
He smiles and kind of taps his fingers on the bar idly. So, what can we help you with?
Well, we're looking for this.
He's a little squeak. Did you see him come through?
Zephyr, you were on the way downstairs. Do you want to make yourself known? All right.
I'm gonna look around for him.
All right, make. Yeah, if you're not trying to hide, I'll say, Gil, you see Zephyr just kind of slinking towards a table, your inventory not on his person.
Oh my goodness, Zephyr! What happened to your pants?
I don't think he's ever worn pants. Do you know what pants are?
They're filthy. What'd you do? You're supposed to having that nice.
I mean, from the bandit country, maybe this is their way.
Come on, we just saw it. It was nice. It was pristine. What's up with this?
Maybe he's just like to get dirty. And lizards are weird, you know?
Lorcan is just watching all this with an amazed expression, and he just kind of keeps glancing to you, Raccoon, and glancing back to them with an expression that's almost just like they know we can hear them, right? Are they aware of this?
Lucian will turn.
Raccoon just kind of nods sagely along with them. She's not really paying attention, you can tell, but she thinks she knows what they're talking about, but obviously she really doesn't.
Oh well, just as long as you get it clean before the ball.
What are you, his dad? Jeez.
Someone's got it.
I mean, his real dad will probably get on him, but I mean, that's his job and not yours.
Oh well. Either way, I'm going to turn back to Raccoon or the bartender, whichever one I can get a drink.
I will also get a drink, maybe a glass of wine.
To ask, are you guys at a bar or a table? Because
I think we're at the bar.
Yeah, we're at the bar.
Okay, then Raccoon has somehow managed to find her way on top of the bar.
Well, I'm gonna put down a gold to pay for both my drink and hers.
So, you're a goblin. What is your name? Little goblin.
Me?
Yes, you. You're the only goblin here, I think.
Oh, well, I just wanted to make sure. You never know. Some people think these giant orcs are just gigantic goblins sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah, you hear a few incredibly pissed, like as in piss drunk orcs at a nearby table just start laughing and slapping the table.
Well, that comes with intelligence.
I don't know.
That
That's
is
a pretty good joke. I'm gonna put down another gold for that one.
Well, it is nice to meet you. My name is Raccoon. Let me know if there is anything that I could do for you guys here. I work
Where
here, and I'm like,
Where are you
here.
from?
What
Are
do
you
you
from
mean?
Wicked?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm from
I mean,
a
you
lot
have
of
the
places.
same accent as me. I mean, you kind of sound like you're from Wicked.
I mean, I'm from a lot of places.
Have you been to Wicked?
Probably.
There's like a lot of elves and like queen, and it's like very pristine.
Probably. I mean, there is a chance. I don't know. I'm just with Lorcan now. He found me. I work for him.
Yeah, but where were you before then?
Not here.
Lorcan kind of edges closer and smiles and kind of pats Raccoon, kind of reaches up to pat Raccoon on the head and says, you'll have to excuse her. She's not very good with names, people, places, or things. You have to be a bit more specific if you want to get any specific information.
Well, I mean, you can't get any more specific than Wicked. I thought everybody knew where that was.
Well, I mean, there's a wicket, there's the creature wicket, there's the forest wicket, there's the other town.
There's Wicked
Basket.
Baskets.
There's probably a
I'm not
boat
talking about
called
an
that
animal.
too.
I'm not talking about an animal. I'm talking about the country Wicked.
And then you're gonna just hear off to the side.
Raccoon kind of looks at Lorcan very questioningly, and she's like, "Could that be where it is? Is that right?"
He kind of closes his eyes and thinks for a second before kind of giving a slight shrug but nodding, and kind of you can see him kind of wave his hand a bit to say, like, even if it's not, just go with it.
So Raccoon turns to her, puts her hands on her hips, and says, "Probably."
Well, it's a very good place to be from, because that's where I am from. That's where my family is from. My name is Lucian.
It is very nice to meet you. I am Raccoon. And she like holds her hand out.
Lucian will shake it.
Her hand is
And I'm
very
Gil.
tiny.
That's okay.
You are what?
My name is Gil.
Gil, like guilt on a fish.
I was just about to ask that.
You could maybe call him Fish. That's probably easier.
No, I like Gil.
No.
I don't know. Sometimes he smells like fish. I don't know.
That's everybody here.
Gil is going to just shoot Lucian with some very bad.
Lucian will shrug. I just say it how it is. That's all.
All right. While that's going on, Zephyr, what are you doing? All right.
Zeroes in on the shiny.
All right. So do you approach?
Probably not. She
Okay.
is she is like she's dumb, but she's smart.
I get you. Low intelligence, high wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, Zephyr, are you trying to like entice people to a game, or are you just kind of having them there to see what happens? Okay. All right. So you just leave the dice on the table, and you wait for a moment. A moment passes, another. After a moment, an orc approaches with two other orcs kind of flanking him, and you can see they are crazy drunk. And one of the orcs leans over the table, kind of using that as a crutch to keep his balance, and looks you very blearily up and down, and looks down to the dice before looking back to you. You looking to play? Uh, he kind of sniffs, and looks to his buddies, and they both kind of scrounge through their pockets before each of them put 10 gold on the center of the table. So that'd be 30 in total. All right, you've got a pot. They all start laughing and kind of talking amongst themselves as they sit at your table, and uh, you notice the third one who hadn't spoken yet is dressed a bit more finely than the others, and he brings out his own set of dice, a wooden set. Although it's wooden, but with some what's the word, like embeds of an ivory like material, uh and places them alongside yours, and uh the lead one waves his hand to you, Raccoon, and says, go and need some empty cups, we'll play some liar's dice.
All right. And she kind of like grabs a couple of cups and like, is he wanting like drink or just the cups?
Yeah, no, specifically the cups for
Okay.
liar's dice.
She grabs a couple of cups and hops onto one of the bar stools before sliding down and skittering over.
So yeah, Lucien and Gil, you just watch this goblin like dexterously, for an illumination animation style, their way across
Lucian will
the.
turn to Gil. Do you think that maybe she would want to come with us?
Maybe. I
We
want to
could
go.
use
I want to
that
go watch this
dexterity.
game.
No, we could. No, listen. We could use that dexterity. I mean, Zephyr's used this pretty much. I mean, probably be good.
True.
Literal professional thief.
I still want to see.
My money is on Zephyr. It's probably.
So, Gil's gonna go over there and watch the game. He wants
Okay.
to make sure there's no cheating.
All right.
Lucian will stay where she is, but
All right, so the orcs take the cups from you, Raccoon. Gil, you, along with a small, like just kind of casual group of observers of giants and ogres, watch the game. The dice are distributed, and Zephyr, do you have proficiency with dice sets? Okay, so make me a. This is going to be a. Okay, do you want to play fair or do you want to cheat? All right. Okay, make me a dice check. This is going to be a intelligence check, but also add your proficiency bonus for the dice.
Raccoon's also gonna like as she walks away from handing over the cups, hides her eyes from the shiny stuff.
And I'm watching the orcs as well, or ogres, or whatever they are.
Now they're orcs. Okay. You play a round of Liar's Dice, and the lead orc and the second one are out pretty much immediately. You can't tell whether it's just not just a genuine run of bad luck or they just are too drunk to play the game well. But you do end up clashing with the kind of a little more sobered up, finely dressed one who had supplied the dice. Gil, if you want to see if he's playing fair, you can make an insight check. But Zephyr, so you're still in the game, but you'll have to do another contest with him specifically because you didn't quite beat him. And yeah, Gil, as far as you can tell, all parties involved are playing fair. It seems like the other orcs just ran into bad luck.
Just.
All right. All right. 18 total. You get a good set of dice to work with for this round. The round progresses, and the orc manages to beat you by a thin margin. The orc kind of raises up the cup he had been using, and the other orcs cheer, and you can hear some kind of scattered like friggin' cheers and aplomb from the surrounding observers. And he just starts to rake the winnings towards him and kind of taps the now empty cup against the table. Care for another round?
Gil would like to put down some money. I'll play.
Hey, I would like to know if Raccoon is familiar with the way this orc plays, and if she's familiar with this orc.
I'll say make me I'll say history check with advantage since you've worked here for a while. So
cool. That's a nat 20.
He doesn't necessarily make a compulsive habit of gambling, but he is known to always carry that dice set on him. It's just kind of a personal trinket of his. And if the opportunity presents itself, he's more than willing to play a few rounds of Liar's Dice. He's never been caught cheating, but there has been rumors that the dice set he's using is rigged in some way, but no confirmation one way or the other. But that's all you have to go on is just rumors. You can safely say he's never lost, but it could just be like playing the game better more than using rigged dice.
Can I possibly insight to see if there's like a specific way that he does the dice?
Yeah, go for it.
Or if there's any like magic or anything?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. D20?
Mm-hmm.
Physical dice. See, that is a 17.
Okay. And so are you trying to insight him for cheating or like Arcana to see if the dice are magical?
Insight, and then I'll roll separate for Arcana.
All right. So go ahead and roll that as well.
That's an 18.
All right.
I like my new dice.
He is technically playing fair. However, you look to the dice and you recognize the way they're made, the kind of wooden make, but with the ivory embedding on them. That they have a very weak enchantment on them. Although you don't know the exact type of magic it is or what it does, but you can tell that the dice are distinctly magical in some way.
Okay, so Raccoon probably isn't going to act on this since she's used to this character. She just has this information in her brain and doesn't realize that it actually has any value.
All right. So Gil, how much money do you put down?
10.
The orc kind of looks to his much drunker buddies, who just kind of nod slowly, seeming very unfocused, and smiles and takes 30 gold out from the pot he had just won and throws it on top. Sounds fair enough. Zephyr, are you going to play again?
Yeah, and he'll pull out this little ragged set. It's not great, but it's functional.
I think possibly Raccoon, upon going back to Lorcan in the bar, kind of whispers to him, "Hey, was I blind at some point? Because suddenly I'm seeing magic-y stuff."
Yeah, he just kind of smiles a bit, and kind of ruffles your hair and says, yeah, you might just be seeing things, dear.
That's what I thought.
All right. So in that case, so Zephyr, are you gonna throw in 10 gold and participate this round? All right. So the pot is 50 gold this time. So both of you, same as before, make me a just dice check. It'll be intelligence plus your proficiency bonus with the dice. And again, do tell me if you intend to cheat, because the roll will be slightly different if you do. Mm. Yeah, basically, like, you can make a deception check, and like, basically based on how well you do, um, you'll either like get caught if you roll really poorly. You'll cheat and get away with it, but it won't help you, or you'll cheat and that'll help you win, depending on how good the check is. Yeah. So how did you two do?
18.
All right. All right. Same as before. The two much more drunk orcs are out pretty much immediately. Just again, terrible dice on their part. So as a couple rounds of liar's dice go by, the two orcs are dropped out. But the leader with his ivory dice is still in the game and actually managed to beat your dice, Gil. You're still in the game, but he has beaten you guys so far.
Okay.
So that's another dice contest.
Oof. 12.
All right. Zephyr, your dice are awful, and it's not even a contest. And Gil, you're not confident in your hand, but you pardon my pun, roll with it, and to your surprise, you managed to just barely beat what the ivory dice turn up by the skin of your teeth.
Nice.
The orc looks baffled.
He's like, no worries, it happens every day. And A drink for the gentleman.
A drink for the what? You cut out?
A drink for this gentleman.
Mm.
All right. Is that referred to Zephyr or?
Both.
Okay. You see everyone in the crowd and the two drunk orcs cheer, and the one who had lost just stares at his dice and looks up at the ceiling and just kind of mumbles and creases his brows as if angrily scolding something, before sighing and leaning back.
Good game.
He just kind of smirks and says, "Yeah, all right," and leans forward to shake your hand.
I return the shake.
All right. Raccoon, do you deliver the gamblers their drinks?
Yep.
Alright.
Though this time she actually has them on a platter that she holds above her head because the mugs are very much bigger than her own hands, and when filled with drink, she needs something to balance them.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. The Goblin bartender passes along the concessions. The orcs kind of join you guys for a bit of carousing. Zephyr?
Lucian, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, Zephyr, you are now 20 gold poorer, and Gil, you are now 50 gold richer.
Yeah, 40.
Oh, yeah, right. So is that what we're going to say, Lucian?
So Lucian would like to get and kind of side-eye Raccoon.
Yeah.
You're cutting out.
Yes, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're a little spotty. One more time.
She wants to talk to Lorcan, and say, Lorcan, do you think that your little goblin friend would like
Would like
an
to what?
adventurer? Would like to be an adventurer?
He kind of looks to you, surprised, and you can see his tongue kind of like rolling against his cheeks as he kind of grabs a few drinks to just buy himself time to think. And he looks and watches Raccoon distributing the drinks and entertaining the guests, and just kind of smiles and says, well, suppose every bird has to leave the nest at some point. I think she would, but probably better to take it up with her. Believe me, even if I wanted to stop her, that would do absolute fuck all.
I understand. I have a brother in the same way.
He smiles and slides you a small ale mug, but you can see it is filled with you can recognize it by smell, a fine elvish wine, and holds up a small glass himself. To family.
She clinks. Thank you. And then she's going to call over, Raccoon, would you come here for a minute?
1 moment, please. And she, considering she probably has to if she's entertaining people, playing music or whatever, she probably climbed on yet another table.
Always got to get a little bit of height on the much taller patrons.
Listen, she's only 2 feet, okay? She's 2 foot. She's 2 foot 11. She's very small. So she hops off a table and heads Lucian's way.
Come sit with me for a moment. I have something to ask.
Okay, she climbs a stool.
Your feet are going to be actually on the ground so little in this.
Very much, yes. It's always a planned thing for Raccoon.
Raccoon, would I have the that was really loud.
I'm sorry. I tried to be quiet.
I have a interesting question for you.
All right, shoot, but don't actually shoot.
It's okay.
No, that's Zephyr.
Yeah, that's the lizard, not us.
He's a lizard?
Yeah, well, he's like a kobold, but I think they're technically lizard. I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so I was watching. You're very dexterous, and our little group of people. They're not. We are not. I should say, buddy buddy. You know, we're not really friends.
Then
But
why would you have a party together?
you know, sometimes business is business. But I was thinking, if you are interested, maybe you would like to come along.
Along where?
Like on our adventures. Like this is the first time I've ever been away from home myself. And you know, traveling is really interesting. And I thought maybe if you wanted to, you can come too.
She'll look towards Lorcan kind of questioningly.
Lorcan kind of looks you over and smiles and says, I know you always had a bit of a soft spot for traveling, and he gestures around to the tavern and says, well, I can only keep you here for so long. I know it's probably for the best that you stretch your legs a bit. Besides, this place isn't going anywhere. You're always welcome to come back if you decide to go. Not kicking you out or anything, but I think traveling with some people who, from the sounds of it, could use a friendly face to keep them from killing each other might be just up your alley.
Lucian will laugh. You have no idea.
She gets a thoughtful look on her face. She puts a hand on her chin, kind of stares out into the distance for a moment, having just a moment for herself, and she's like, where will if I do, this isn't a yes immediately, but if I do, where will we go?
Oh, we have so many places to go. Like right now, we're here for now. We have to go to the Summer Bowl, and then we have to go back to Paris. I think. There's a place called Paris that we have to go to. I think I don't really know, but there's so many different places. Like we went to the Bandit Kingdom, which was really interesting for me because yeah, it was really yeah, that's Zephyr's family.
She kind of looks at him, her eyes wide, and she's like, he's a bandit?
I know,
That's
right?
cool.
Well, I mean, it's not really that cool. It's kind of.
He's
I mean,
though.
Yeah, but they're kind of shifty, and he's a bit of a jerk, you know.
Raccoon just kind of looks around the entire room and does like a, well, so are these kind of face.
Lucian will kind of like, yeah, not in agreement. I'm not used to this kind of company. I am noble, and I'm used to, like, other nobles and royalty. This is new for me, you know. So you'll just excuse my ignorance.
Talking to the common rabble. There you go. It's a good.
It is interesting, that is for sure. You know, I'm back in Wicked. I would you know, sometimes go and talk to the commoners and, you know, see if anybody couldn't afford to get healed, and I would heal them, and they were like, oh my goodness, thank you so much, and I'd be like, yeah, you're welcome, I guess.
That is a good. Very good on you. That is a good thing to do.
Well, my mother always told me it's very important to be generous.
I think, well, you're the only one that has said anything, but if you have multiple members in your party, shouldn't you ask them too?
I mean, I guess we could. I don't really see the lizard boy Zephyr is a bit of a traitor, and he's kind of on my shit list, you know. So I don't care what he thinks, but you know, the other elf, that is tuxedo over there, you know, kind of Buffy looking. he's more brawn than brain, so I don't really think he'll mind. But we can ask.
You should probably ask them before I try to, like, I don't know, join you guys if they don't even want me.
Well, I mean, I want you, and I mean, I don't want them. So.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. I really appreciate that.
You're really cute.
She just kind of like hides and like she just kind of like.
I've never seen a goblin before. I didn't know goblins were so adorable.
She kind of like skitters up to Lorcan and like hides her face, like his arm or something.
Yeah, Lorcan just like allows you to hide into behind his kind of lengthy, almost robe-like clothes. But you can see he's just watching Lucien with a thoroughly entertained expression, and just kind of quietly whistling at the drama that Lucien's spilling to Raccoon.
Lucien will turn her head over to Gil. Gil, would you come here?
Gil's still over it.
Yeah, she's turning her head towards him. Gil, when you have a moment, come here for a minute.
1 minute.
Yeah,
Now,
whatever.
how drunk is this finer dressed orc?
Make an insight check.
You too, Zephyr.
You all hate each other so much.
21.
He's pretty tipsy, but he's still like, he generally seems to have control of his faculties.
I'm gonna keep giving him some more drink.
AKA
I want
he
him
won't piss himself
plastered.
yet.
All right.
Oh my god, warn me next time so I can mute.
Listen, as soon as he lifts up a napkin, just mute.
I'm not watching him. I'm watching the door to McDonald's. Somebody walked out with like 20 balloons. This is more entertaining.
We're doing a show here.
Not sponsored by McDonald's.
I love this. I can multitask.
It's fine, obviously.
Multitask.
All right. So, Gil, are you buying drinks or just like trying to encourage him to drink more?
I'm encouraging him to drink more.
Make me
come on, you're a big guy. You drink more.
Make me a persuasion check, because he doesn't seem like a super heavy drinker compared to his friends. So you kind of get the impression that he's like more their designated walker than designated driver. But
while he does that, Lucien will like call over to Zephyr. You're not doing anything. Come here.
Oof. 6.
He turns you down. He seems. It seems like he wants to stay at least as sober as reasonably possible to make sure he and his friends can get home.
Okay.
He's the designated cart driver.
As I get up, I'm going to trip. I want to try to.
You want to try what?
I want to steal his dice set.
Oh my
All right.
And replace it with my own.
All right. Make me a sleight of hand check with disadvantage, because that is a really that is a way to do it. But if you're trying to Indiana Jones his dice out from under him, so yeah, make me a sleight of hand with disadvantage.
Oh, you're the one that wants to do me, Steve. That's what I said.
He just wants the cheaty dice.
He doesn't know they're cheaty dice.
Okay, go ahead. 8 and 23.
you perform this maneuver that you're wanting to do, but all you really succeed in doing is basically like slapping near where his dice are, and your dice just kind of clatter. But one of the drunker orcs kind of catches you before you actually like face plant, and kind of helps you back up with one arm. You gotta be more careful.
Ugh, the stool trips.
He
Probably
get,
drink too much.
he gives a smile, a big tusk tooth smile, and just kind of pats you on the shoulder. All right. Like, do you see this playing out? Maybe a perception check. Or actually, no. Your passive would beat that. Yes, you could see that he was trying to snag the dice. Yeah.
And I'll walk back over.
All right.
You're an idiot. You know that. And that's not what I called you here for. Listen. I am.
If you're asking about Goblin, says yes.
You are very frustrating. You know that?
We still want to talk about.
Well, I mean, yes, but let me at least build.
One more time. It's just on the table.
Zephyr.
I have a temptation to try and see if Raccoon can steal them, but I'm not going to go for it.
Zephyr, you're not doing anything. Come here. Please.
Okay. The relatively sober one. Okay, he's just sitting across from you, just kind of watching his friends get absolutely shit faced. He turns to you and raises an eyebrow, not seeming like suspicious, more just like surprised that you took an interest, and looks down to them before smiling and nodding, and said, yeah, they're a bit of a family heirloom of sorts. They're a religious totem of sorts. He kind of bites his lip a bit before shaking his head and says, sorry, it's I wouldn't exactly call myself devout. I'm no bishop, but can't exactly just part with my heirloom. He kind of looks at the gold dice. I'll say, make me a persuasion check with disadvantage. Because the gold dice are nice, but you are trying to convince him to part with a family heirloom. Family heirloom that Raccoon has figured out is likely helping him get like many gold.
But she's going to say anything, not going to say anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yet. Possibly.
He shakes his head after a while and says, sorry, the those dice are real nice, but I'm afraid I can't part with these. And he kind of scoops them up and pockets them.
I have a real temptation to see if she can try and steal them.
You guys are just real determined to get like this is D&D in a nutshell. Everyone gets like so hyper focused on like one really specific innocuous
No,
thing.
no, but here's the thing. She's allowed to. She's a goblin and she likes the shiny stuff.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just funny because it's like very common in D&D in general. Like,
Listen, that's what makes it so good, man.
absolutely.
But also she has a plan. She has a plan. Let me check and make sure that the plan is actually viable with what I have for a second, because she actually has her own dice kit. Or
Ooh,
her own dice, her own set of dice, not dice kit. I can speak, I promise.
it's all good.
Alright. I think. Okay, so Raccoon will not very sneakily, because she's not trying to sneak. She's trying to act naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like glances at Lorcan to make sure he isn't watching, because she knows that he knows she knows that he knows that sometimes she will pilfer things.
Yeah, has a bit of sticky finger problem.
Yeah. And she gets a cup and fills it with some ale and heads towards the table, and she says, "Here, what are you?" And while she's handing it to him, one hand is behind her back and she casts Mage Hand.
All right. So checking at Lorcan rather, you see that he is currently just watching Lucian and Gil with a like the enraptured expression of like watching people in like a cafe get into an argument, and you don't even care if you're eavesdropping. It's just that the drama's too good and you don't want to miss it. So he's not paying you any mind at the moment. All right. Make me a sleight of hand check to see if you can do this without like your like spell casting or the hand itself being noticed. Zephyr, in the meanwhile, do you have anything else? Like for your attempt? All right. Okay. Mm. That's fair. All right. So Raccoon, how'd you do? We'll give him a moment.
You might be having problems with their cats.
It's all good. Happens to the best of us.
I didn't realize my mic was muted.
There you go.
It was a 19 plus 3, so 22.
All right.
And she's also replacing the dice with her dice, which looks similar.
Okay.
Because I actually do in hers in her background it actually comes with a set of wooden and iron dice.
Okay. All right. Make me another sleight of hand check to see if you can make the swap itself.
Sleight of hand motto. Okay.
Yeah.
Me. Okay. 17 plus 3.
Okay. And also, before I get into DM flavoring, don't worry too much about the, like we've all like had like a 5-minute conversation before realizing our mics were muted. It's fine. Yeah. So, with Zephyr in kind of negotiation with the orc, and the orc just not paying you too much mind, although he does like politely decline the drink you're offering him.
When he does, he says, "All right, well, we accidentally made an extra. The person who ordered it left. Do either of you want it?"
Both of the other orcs immediately just slam their hands on the table. Me! And they start like kind of not like really violently, but just kind of start like pushing it back and forth, like kind of fighting over it. You, with that distraction, cast Mage Hand and manage to Indiana Jones style swap the what you know to be enchanted dice with a simple regular set, and just slip the enchanted dice into your pocket.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Do I
does-
notice?
What kind of dice is this? What do they do so that way I can put them in my pocket?
They are a wooden and ivory set of dice that let you double your proficiency bonus with dice set rolls.
Ooh. Hey, let me write that down.
And Gil, go ahead and make me a perception.
Say it again. Wooden and iron dice.
No, wooden and ivory dice,
Oh.
and you double your proficiency bonus with dice set rolls.
$17?
You do not. Everything seems on the up and up.
You're too busy arguing with Lucian.
Can you just like copy and paste that so that way I don't have to like write it in?
Yeah, it's all good. I'll send it to you after the game.
Okay,
Like
sweet.
I
So
really
that
want
way-
those dice.
because of my brain. Listen, I heard you say it twice, but only wooden and ivory stuck, and I was like, wait, what's the
I
rest?
know that feel. If it comes up in this session, I'll just remind you what they do. But all you need, for now, you have their description, and then I'll send you their stats later. And Gil, I know you desperately want cheaty dice, but remember to stay in character. As far as
I
you're
know.
concerned, they're just regular ass dice.
When she returns to Lorcan, she looks almost entirely too smug, but
I'll say make me a deception check to see if you, considering he knows that you have a tendency to do this.
that is 11 and plus 5.
Okay.
16.
You approach looking very passively smug but casual, but he immediately just looks to you and says, "What did you take?"
And she kind of like looks to the side. You know how dogs that get in trouble just kind of like don't look at what they did.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of looks away and kind of just crosses her arms, and it's already in her pocket, so it's not obvious that it's there. And she's just kind of, I didn't do anything.
He smiles and, in a very patient, fatherly manner, leans over the counter and kind of whispers to you a bit. I'll talk regularly so you can hear me, but like whispers a bit to keep away from prying ears, and says, "Dear, you know we've discussed this. It's important to remember that some people need the things that they have. Did the person you took whatever it is you took from need what they had?"
He was cheating, so no.
He raised an eyebrow and kind of leans back with a nod and says, "Well, then, I suppose accidents happen. People misplace their belongings all the time."
This is why I love you, Lorcan. And
Love
she
you too,
kinda, like,
dear.
she actually like takes out one of them and like cups it in both of her hands to like show it to him, and she says, look at the magic key on it. So cool.
He looks it over and kind of gives a smile and a nod. "Very impressive. Your eyes getting all the more discerning by the day, dear."
Do I notice this?
Make a perception check.
While he does that, Lucian once again is going to scream across the tavern, Zephyr, get your lizard ass over here.
You hear like a very drunk sounding giant across the tavern. "Yeah, Zephyr, get over here!"
Raccoon follows up. Yeah, Zephyr, she has a thing to say.
17.
Should I contest?
Yeah, go ahead and make me a stealth check. Or I'll say sleight of hand actually. Since you're hiding a thing you're holding, that'd be sleight of hand.
No, my dice, it went across the room.
Rogue dice.
Hang on, let me go grab it. It rolled across the floor.
It's all good.
Rogue dice.
Natural one.
It didn't help that one of the kittens immediately took it and started like, hitting it across the room.
So that's
Okay.
how it got across the room.
Yeah, it rolled a bit, and one of them immediately was like, "Toy." Okay, here we go. That is a 14 plus. You said sleight of hand?
Yes.
3, so that's 17.
It's a tie.
Oh wow. Okay, I'll say, Gil, you do see Lorcan and Raccoon talking, and that Raccoon is holding something, but you don't see what. After a moment, Lorcan just tousles your hair, Raccoon, and gives you a kind of kiss on the forehead, and leans back over the tavern. Just any moment that he's not serving drinks, just enrapturedly watching the fucking dynamic of the party. Zephyr, you approach discontentedly. Lucian?
Zephyr. Now, I don't care about your opinion, but this person does. And apparently so does Gil. But this little goblin would be a really great addition to our I don't even want to say team. It's not a team. Like whatever the fuck we are. A group, I guess. I don't know.
Conglomerate?
Yeah, that.
Association?
Anybody else got the 5-letter word? Nobody? Okay.
Loose Commonwealth of Disproportionate Parts?
That's a great one. That's perfect. Thank you. I think that she would be great. I mean, if you decide to wander off like you've done many times, she would at least be useful. What do you think? Look, she wants everybody in the group or whatever to agree somewhat if she can join, which is why I asked you to come over here.
Hey, Lucian. Majority rule. 2 versus 1. She's
Yeah, fuck you, Zephyr. Why can't you be like your sister? Your sister's way cooler than you.
Oh.
ouch.
Ooh.
Okay, well, it looks like you're in, Raccoon.
But hey, Raccoon.
Yes.
What was that you were showing?
You cut out?
What
was
were you
that
showing?
You were showing Larkin.
Oh, I was showing you. Look, one of the beads on my penny whistle, and she like pulls out the necklace that has like a penny whistle on it, and it's got like a couple of beads, and she said, "Look, it fell off."
Well, I could fix that for you.
Who said it?
Gil.
Gil. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't looking at who lit up. And she says, "Why would they want to fix?" Like,
Maybe she likes it this way.
Genuinely, just like why?
Maybe she
enough.
likes it this way.
Gives it character, I think.
Yeah. So here is what we're doing. We're staying here until the end of the. So if you want to come with us, you have to find a pretty dress. And
She immediately makes a face at this.
you don't like pretty dresses?
Look at how she's dressed. Tell me, does she look like she wears a dress?
I guess she could wear a tux. I'm not against girls wearing pants.
No, I've already drawn what she'd wear. She said she looks towards Larkin and she's like, what is a bull?
He leans forward and smiles and gestures his head towards the door. The thing they do twice a year where they serve snacks.
Oh, I like snacks.
Don't we all?
Larkin, if I go, do you want me to bring you back some?
He smiles and says, "Well, I'm not going to be too far behind you, actually. So, you can if you like, but."
You're going?
He smiles and tousles your head and says, good for business.
Her hair is just messed up at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, his constant like fiddling with your personal space contributes highly to your kind of disheveled appearance.
Listen, it's the best. She goes, "Do you have anything I could wear? If it's one of those fancy schmancy thingies you said you went to before."
He gives a smile and a nod and says, "You never seemed overly interested in that sort of thing before, but I always had something on hand in case you changed your mind."
I was not interested, but snacks. Are if they got snacks, is probably fancy snacks. That means there's going to be candies, probably, and sugary stuff. The stuff that's really hard to get.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Gil,
I don't even remember the last time I've had anything that sweet and delicious.
Gil's gonna pull some candy out of his pocket.
Where the fuck did you get that?
It's in a little pouch. He makes rock candy.
How the fuck do you do that? When do you do that?
Back at Zephyr's house?
I have so many questions.
What do you think I do with my time?
I don't know. Fuck it away.
Ouch.
I don't know what you do.
I'm gonna
You do
offer
train,
some to,
sword fights? I don't know.
I'm gonna offer some to Raccoon. Do you want a piece?
I don't think you should eat that. What is it?
It's rock candy. It's hard sugar.
I don't think you should eat that.
You're not supposed to eat rocks. Lorcan had to tell me that many times.
Many
I would-
times.
Don't, that is very wisdom. Yeah.
This is a special rock, and I will eat it myself. I will eat a piece of show.
Raccoon's presence is just putting the entire party in silly mode.
Listen, she's a silly character, but she's dumb, but she has some wisdom. It gives like a little bit of like extra like ability to just do what the fuck ever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Lucian is just like, what is happening right now?
Well, she is very much curious, so she's going to take a piece and she's going
Oh
to
God,
sniff
no! If she dies, I'm going to kill you.
It's perfectly safe.
it. In insight or investigation to see if it's okay, because she sees Lucian making a face
Sorry, trying to see if it's poisoned.
or anything.
Yeah, make me an investigation check. And Gil, out of character, is it safe?
It's
She
safe.
eats it.
It's blueberry flavored.
She can't tell anything. She just immediately pops it in her mouth. It's a nat 1.
Yeah, yeah, you're just like, that's colorful, and then put it in your mouth.
And you taste blueberry and sugar.
You just hear like her crunching on it, just.
Lucian's just making one of those, like, I'm not really sure about that face.
Come
Does
on.
any-
It's
okay.
it's a kid's treat.
Does
Back in
anything
my
happen?
place, You get a slight sugar high.
Okay. Listen, hyper ass raccoon. That's the best.
So, yeah, you get a delightful sugary snack.
And she kind of like draws her tongue over her very sharp teeth, and she smiles and she's like, "That was very good, very crunchy. That Lorcan, why didn't you not tell me there were edible rocks?"
I don't think they're actual rocks.
This is a very special rock.
I think it's like
Only get it from me.
crystallized sugar.
And in my defense, dear, all rocks are edible if you're willing to try hard enough.
See, that's what I was telling him. But he said, "No, rocks are not good for you. You
Don't eat
eat
rocks. Please
They-
don't eat
they-
rocks, dear.
Don't eat rocks. You'll break your pretty teeth.
She smiles. She said, "You think they're pretty?" And they're like,
Yeah, it's not. Goblin teeth are not pleasant.
they're very sharp. They're
She
very
has this-
sharp, needle thin.
The
Just like,
look on Lucian's face is like like if this were an anime, she'd be like eroding.
and Laura kind of just watching you with just the biggest smirk, just like almost as if he's like just like they gonna say anything about it?
And she's like, yeah, they're great.
Listen, they're very dangerous looking, but obviously well taken care of.
They just have some
You
blueberry
take
on
care
them
of
now.
your teeth. Very good. You don't have any cavities. I'm very proud of you. And she's like forcing a smile.
Raccoon does not notice.
Zephyr, you've been quiet. What are you doing? Yeah, that about sums it up. All right. So Zephyr heads upstairs.
Oh yes. Speaking of rooms,
Do
I have Oi,
Yeah.
Zephyr. Weren't you supposed to get keys?
You are such an asshole.
Oi, Lucia, not in front of the kid.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to film myself. I'm not used to being around children. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Well,
And
here,
you wonder about me.
Raccoon
I
kind of
do
like stares.
wonder
And
about
she's
you
like,
often.
Raccoon stares and she says, "I'm not a child.
See? It's fine.
I know I have the tail still, but that thing just won't go away."
Well, you
It's
know,
a good tale.
it is a very cute tale.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Why?
are you loving?
Fuck you, TikTok.
No, it wasn't TikTok. It was I was checking a notification on like another site that I'm on, and I forgot that it has ads. And now I can't turn my phone on without it coming back on.
It's all good.
No.
Let me mute. We're good.
Okay.
Interesting.
So do y'all have extra keys? Ours seems to have wandered off.
Yeah, ours literally just walked away.
Did I even have all the keys? Did I have them?
Lorcan just kind of smirks and rolls his eyes a bit before retrieving a small set of like not like unnatural looking but pure black keys and hands one of them. He kind of looks between the two of you before handing them to you, Raccoon, and says, Raccoon will show you to your rooms. That needs to be returned, so I can't necessarily trust you all with it right away.
Of
Raccoon,
course.
Lorcan hands you the inn's master key. Basically, in the event that someone like misplaces their key, or in this case, the key gets up and walks away, this can unlock any door in the inn, which is why he's only trusting it to you.
She takes it and kind of does the, oh, I've only held this twice.
He leans forward and smiles. Well, this makes 3 times, doesn't it, dear?
I can count to that much.
He smiles and nods. Well, and he looks to you, Lucian and Gil. Are we done here?
He's just a smiley, naughty boy.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for the wine. That's going to give him
Gonna give him what?
2 gold.
Okay. He slides it with a very smooth movement into his pocket and says, well, Raccoon and I will be down here if you need us.
Appreciate it.
I want to go get my... Is it about nighttime now?
Yes, it's well into the night now.
Okay.
As they're going, Raccoon turns to Lorcan and she kind of just quietly, are you sure? I could stay if you still need help.
He looks to you and gets that very like patient, fatherly smile, and says, "We can talk more about it before bed if you need to." But his smile kind of broadens, and he says, "Like I said, I think it's important for you to know that you can leave home, and home will still be here when you return.
I know, I just haven't wanted to. I like
Uh,
it here.
he's kind of sighs and says, like I said, I'm not kicking you out. You're absolutely free to stay if you wish, but I know you've always loved to travel, and uh, he kind of pauses for a moment and says, besides, think about all the shiny little trinkets you can have others misplace while you're
Do,
out and
do you
about.
do you want me to bring you some back? I can bring you some back.
Oh, please, I'd love. I've not traveled much myself since setting up the inn. There's a lot of places I've never got to go, a lot of things I've never gotten to see, and I've always I've always treasured being able to experience that vicariously through you. So please, anything that you look at and reminds you of home, you can bring it here, and it'll always have a special place and a story behind it
Oh, she's
for a
grabbing everything.
um, Eve chuckles and nods his head towards the stairs with Lucian and Gil already heading up. All right, off with you then, and hurry back. Drinks aren't going to serve themselves.
All right, and she skitters off.
All right. So Raccoon shows the two of you to your rooms. Each of you does have your own room for the time being. The inn is fairly packed, but since Zephyr leveraged the family name, you were able to get more uh, uh, comfortable accommodations. Uh, we're not at the cuddle pile stage of the party yet. um, so, is there anything notable? The three of you, sans Raccoon, would like to do before settling down for the night.
After getting all of her stuff, she is going to get out parchment and quill, and she is going to write a letter to Pi
Okay.
and just tell him how much she misses him and how where they're at, and basically like telling him that thank you for coming with us and I'm really proud of you, and just like a like a motherly thing. And then she'll send that off when she gets in the morning.
Okay. All right. Easy enough to do. Gil and Zephyr, any?
No, not really. Well, basically, I'll go my make sure I'm not. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Zephyr, you, I'm assuming you didn't filch anything from his inventory that you smuggled in.
I mean, what could I use from his inventory?
That's fair.
Well, I mean, off my person.
Yeah, you give yourself a rub down and everything seems to be on hand.
Okay.
So Lucian will meditate for 4 hours, then maybe
meditate for 4 hours and then what?
Oh, sorry. Then she'll see if there's something to do. Like, cause didn't they tell us that like there's basically going to be like all night parties and stuff?
Well, yeah. So the ball itself hasn't started yet because you guys got here early. But yeah, basically when the ball gets going, the Tibadrians told you that basically there's the festival during the day, and then at night is when the nobility goes to the ball itself, and it's just like a big party, basically.
Okay, so like the ball's not like what until like 4 days from now, or
Yeah, you got like 3 or 4 days before the ball properly starts because people are still arriving, basically.
Okay, so like, is there going to be like carnival stuff to do, or
Yeah.
like during the night?
Maybe a perception check.
Okay, I have to go all the way over. Ah, sorry, a bug just.
It's all good.
Okay. Perception, you said?
Yes.
15.
Okay. Looking out the window of your room, you don't see any activity that would imply to you that that there's any any real party per se going on at this moment. Although you do see the occasional like people carrying like construction materials and like large cloths for tents. So you get the impression that like the stuff is just getting set up for whenever like people start arriving more en masse. You get the impression that you've arrived pretty early, given that you don't immediately see any other like you haven't seen any like royal processions or anything beyond your own.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, just stay in our room.
All right. Uh,
Sorry about that. Car just passed by.
Yeah, it's all good. And also, I'll say for the sake of brevity, unless Zephyr is going to be stubborn about it, you guys also acquire your proper room keys so you can
That
access.
Mm.
So, in the meantime, Zephyr, the rest of the party doesn't bother you outside of grabbing their stuff from the pile in your room. So, once they leave you be, is there anything you'd like to do before going to bed?
You know what? Sure.
Oh.
I would like to scout out the area, the place we're going to.
So, which place? Because they pointed out 3 points of interest to you before leaving. There's the sort of hotel of sorts where the nobility is going to be staying. There's the palace where the ball itself is going to be happening, and the sort of town square of sorts, which is where the bulk of the festival is going to be happening.
Hmm. Uh, do I know which one's closer?
Closest is the town square by far. The palace is a bit of a walk uphill at that, and the hotel is even further away.
Alright, so I'm gonna go to the town square.
Okay. So are you looking for anything in particular, or just kind of seeing how things look?
Just just seeing, scouting the area, seeing how things look.
All right. Make me I'll say perception check since you're not really looking for anything in particular. So, uh, um, while you're doing that, so yeah, Raccoon, you use the master key to let Lucy and Gil access their rooms so they can reacquire their keys. Do you return the Nortwick skeleton key to Lorcan?
Of course.
Uh, um, okay. Zephyr, how'd you do on your perception?
19.
All right. So you leave Nortwick's. Activity starting to simmer down a bit as the drunk either pass out or start to return home. Uh, all that's left is just the people staying here, having dinner before returning in for the night. You head to the town square. Looking around, you see that most of this area is, overtaken by the infrastructure of the city proper. The town square is actually one of the few places that is deliberately left to encourage kind of natural environments and plant growth. You can see several giants and ogres setting up tents. Uh, and you don't know the specifics of them. You've never been exactly a festival person growing up, but you do get the distinct recognition of like they're setting up carnival games. You get the smell of heavily processed food, and of course the just exotic spices that are traditional for the market area. So you can just see a variety of games and things being set up in preparation for more guests arriving by the day. And while you're looking around, you see what you initially think might just be a fortification of some kind, but it'd be kind of odd to have a fort in the city. Um, but as you approach, you see that it is actually a large arena of sorts. and you can actually see a few somewhat beat up looking orcs kind of just slapping each other on the back and laughing and carrying what you can even recognize in the darkness from a distance as wooden training swords. And it seems like this is just a kind of like just practice fights for entertainment, basically. Uh, um, and overall, that's about all you find at this exact moment. Um, is just the setup of the summer festival festivities.
All right. All right. I guess I don't want to stay up too late, so guess I'll go back to bed.
Okay. All right. Raccoon, is there anything you'd like to do before morning comes?
Probably like finish discussing with Lorcan about anything.
Hmm. Uh, uh, yeah, so you two are just kind of talking in private as activity has simmered down. So you're allowed to, you know, disrobe from your uniforms and relax. And he kind of looks to you and seeing that there's still some tension and apprehension, kind of tilts his head and says, "Is this not what you want?"
Well, I do want to go. I'm really excited, but I don't like. I've been with you like here for so long. It's kind of daunting. There, I know, like, I know I'm not like the smartest fish in the barrel, but it, I,
Uh,
I don't know.
he puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Well, first of all, smarts aren't always what's important, and your smart word counts. And
What
I
is that
know."
count?
He smiles and says, "All the way up to 3." And he kind of playfully jabs you in the shoulder.
Nice.
And he kind of returns to a more somber expression and uh, less the playful way of messing with your hair and just kind of gently runs his hands through your hair and says, "Of course, leaving home is always going to be daunting, Raccoon, but it only gets more daunting every day you don't do it. And before you know it, you never leave. And you always wonder what could have been."
She's silent for a moment before nodding and like hugging him, and she says, "I'll try to write if I can find places and people to help me to write you."
Hugs you back and pats you on the back gently, and just kind of you hear him kind of lightly chuckle and says, "You remember our address, right?"
Ah, yes,
uh,
Northwicks.
he chuckles and says, "I'll write it down for you."
Better
Uh,
hand it to the others. I won't know what that says.
he places you back down gently and just kind of looks you over wistfully and says, "And remember, as I said, if anything happens to you or the others, you'll always have a home at Nordwicks."
And wherever I end up, if I ever end up anywhere else but here, you can come there too.
He smiles and just, you've never known your adoptive father to show the ever-present age of a well into his adulthood elf, but he just very much shows the expression of someone who's been around for a while and not seen as much as he'd like to, and just smiles wistfully and says, "I'd like that." He runs a hand through your hair and says, "So, whenever you're done filching all the interesting treasures and slaying whatever monsters might cause some trouble, perhaps we can explore the world together."
That would be fun.
He smiles and pats you on the back and says, "All right, well, make sure you get yourself cleaned up. We'll be sure that your outfit fits before the ball. Try not to cause too much trouble on your first day with your new friends. And I'm going to be having company in a few nights, so you know the rule. Tie on the door.
Mm. Yes. And it's kind of like a quiet, like, yes, like scared, like, eh. Don't
Uh,
need to know that.
he chuckles and tousles your hair more playfully now, and says, "I'm joking." And he
And she
stands.
looks at him from where she was like covering her head with her hands, and she says, "Are you?"
He tilts his head to the side, and he looks like kind of questioning himself, and says, "Am I?
Are you?
Am I?
Are you?
Am I?"
Are you?
This continues for quite some time. Um, all right. So, Raccoon, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or do before morning comes?
She quiets after a moment of them messing around and giggling, and she says, Can you tell me? Can you tell me later, like, how you found me again?"
He looks you over for a moment and smiles and says, "Of course." So,
Y'all gotta choke me up over here.
all right. So, the night passes. All of you sleep as soundly as you can. Eventually, the sun rises on a new day in the city of Mercurial. The three of you in the inn wake up, and do you go downstairs for brekkie?
I'll go
What are
now.
you, Australian?
I always call it brekkie. So the three of you head downstairs and see the usual patronage and patroners. Raccoon looking much more geared up for travel now. Lorcan gives you a friendly smile and nod as you head downstairs and serves you all a very comfortable breakfast suited to your personal palates, and crosses his arms with a smile and says, and he nods to you, Zephyr. Seeing as you've got a hoity-toity reservation, can't exactly charge you for it. Just don't bleed me dry, would you?
Of course not.
Raccoon in the background just kind of repeats the word. She thinks it's so funny.
Hoity-toity.
Yeah, and you can see Lorcan kind of bobbing side to side as you do it.
And she's like cleaning a table as she does it, and like her hands moving in time with it.
All right, so as you guys work and consume breakfast, the day is yours. The city is not yours yet, but you are free to explore it.
Yeah.
What would you guys like to do?
I want to go look for some fun.
All right.
Like what kind of fun?
That's for me to know and you know if I
Okay, but like
carnival.
okay, I mean, but you're actually gambling. I mean, I'm okay with carnival games. That's a gamble in its own mindset. That's different.
You see shake his head and he's gonna head out.
All right. Do the rest of you follow, or
Raccoon, would you like to join me?
You cut out for me?
I'm
would
sorry,
you like to join
I
them?
asked you, would you like to join me?
Where are you going?
Oh, we're just going to, explore the city, see if there's yet.
Kidding.
And she says, Lorcan, am I needed for today or can I go?
He waves a hand and gestures to the. You guys just kind of take in fairly, like, especially compared to last night, fairly empty and quiet Nortwicks, and says, "No, at the moment everyone's a bit more concerned either gussing themselves up or seeing the gussied. You're free to go have some fun. I'll manage."
Ah, the gassied up hoity-toities.
Hoity-toity.
Wow.
Are you sure you've
yes,
never been to Wicked? Because there's pretty hoity-toity there too.
It's a hard thing to say with the accent.
I know
Oh,
it's
sorry.
hard to say with the accent.
It's so funny though. She says, probably, and just kind of like hops down from a table and throws the rag at Lorcan.
He just catches it and just starts to clean a few things up. Zephyr, are you going to join the group as well?
I kind of give him a reason to join, but it's just.
Lizard boy, do you want to come or what?
Hey, you're Zephyr, right? Come with us. I would like to know you too. And so you can know me maybe, so we don't maybe possibly hate each other?
Listen, I've known Gil for like, I don't know, a couple weeks and I still don't like
Hey, I'm not that bad.
Zephyr's even worse now that straight up.
Zephyr's even
Yeah,
worse
just
now that
keep
what?
bringing
Now
up
that he's
old
betrayed
news.
us.
us.
Oh. She, Raccoon turns to Zephyr and she said, "You're a traitor."
You could say
Yeah.
that. You-
And she's like, "Okay," and then just kind of like continues on.
Alright. Zephyr, you going with him?
Yeah, I guess he'll follow just because he doesn't know what's the next plan.
So, the four of you now partied up officially. Exit Nortwicks. Immediately, you can see what Lorcan was talking about. You see that in the town square and market area where you had been the previous night, Zephyr, you can see that a few more things have been constructed, getting the festival at least ready to get moving, if not completely underway yet. And you see a large crowd already gathering and talking and chattering excitedly amongst themselves.
Mm-mm. I guess while we're walking and seeing the sights, Zephyr's going to ask, "What is our plan?"
Well, I saw people setting up last night, so maybe just kind of scope out and see what kind of things are available. I mean, we're here to entertain ourselves.
Well, we are also here on a mission, so
Well, we can't really do our mission until like 4 days. Like until the so I mean, there's time for fun too.
Always time for fun.
Not always.
Yes, always.
No.
Well, some of us have different types of fun.
Some of us are stupid.
hmm, I can see this mission going swimmingly.
Raccoon is kind of like, "Well, I know I am. You don't have to point it out."
Well, not you. I'm talking about the big buff dude.
Well, you're right about that.
He
I'm
is big. He is
I am buff.
Yeah, but he is not smart. So I tell you
Hearing
that.
dude in that accent.
What?
Hearing dude in that accent is great.
A dude.
A dude.
Dude.
A dude.
It's like spelled D-O-O-D.
Dude.
That's exactly
How's it
what I was
going,
thinking. How's
How's
it
it
going,
going, dude? Staying away from the alcohol.
dude?
Raccoon looks up to Gil and is like, "That's like the opposite of me. I'm stupid but tiny and small.
What do you say you're stupid? I don't think you're stupid.
Raccoon kind of stares at her with wide, knowing eyes. No, I am.
Well, I guess you're better, knowing that you're stupid rather than not knowing you're stupid. And she looks right at Gil and she says,
I don't even know what you're talking
see?
about. He's just gonna walk off.
It's a trap. There's no way out of that.
So yeah, and
All right.
All right.
I don't see anything.
So what do we see that we can do?
Okay, so making your way towards the market, the familiar, just almost fog of spices, and it's like a mixture of like a candle shop and like someone just poured like the contents of a spice rack. It's a pleasant smell. It's just powerful. Um, do you guys want to see what the crowd is gathering about, or see what's going on at the fairgrounds that are being set up?
I'm thinking maybe the fairgrounds. I'm not the crowd.
I want to go to the crowd.
We're undercover. Stay away from the crowd.
That's the perfect cover.
He is right. Well, the perfect places to blend in is places where there's a lot of people.
Fine.
And you said I was.
Well, you are. That's besides the point.
Lorcan says that wisdom and smarts are different.
He has neither, so you know.
Ooh.
Oh, this fucking party.
Crack!
Yeah,
He's just gonna walk.
go to the crowd then.
So much of this campaign is just dragging Gil behind the woodshed. All right, so Zephyr, do you join them?
What now?
All right.
Oh no.
You guys head to the crowd, and you can immediately, even the small among you, can easily see what they're gathering for. You can see in the distance, you can hear the sounds of marching and of musical fanfare announcing the arrival of presumably people of great importance. But what catches your eyes more immediately, and what a lot of the crowd seems to be watching, is you see what appears to be a ship, but the ship is currently very high up in the air, making its way towards the city. And you can see massive balloons kind of intermixed with the typical sails, holding it aloft as it makes its way towards the city. So you just see this massive airship, or it's less an airship and more, as you get a better look at it, an air fleet. A bunch of small airships, like in constant formation with each other, and there you can see like bridges and pipes and wires linking them as this airborne fleet makes its way towards the city, and you can hear the fanfare and footsteps of what seems to be a large entourage beginning to approach the city gates.
Does this look or feel familiar?
Make me
Like-
a hit.
I was gonna say any familiar insignia.
Yeah. Like, does it anything like entourage? Anything?
You can make a history check if you want, but nothing immediately jumps at you now.
Does
Like,
Raccoon know of airships?
Make me a history check as well.
Well, that sucks. It was an 8, and Gil got the 7.
So yeah, no,
Raccoon does not know what an airship is.
another nat one.
No, it was a 4.
Wow. Nah, you guys, so yeah, you can safely say none of you have seen an airship before, and looking at the fleet itself, nothing about the design or anything sticks out to you. You don't actually see any identifying emblem on it. It doesn't seem to be waving a flag or anything.
Whoa. Guys, what are that?
I think it's a floating boat.
Wow.
Yes, I can see
I'm
that's a
bored.
boat in the air, but what is it?
I'm
It's
bored.
an airboat. It's a boat that's in the air.
Bill just doesn't
Yeah,
care.
she's so easily impressed.
I'm nothing. Well, I mean, I'm a little bit impressed, but like not so much impressive. What for you to say that? I'm just saying it's a boat and it's in the air. That's pretty big.
Eh,
What do you mean,
eh.
Gil is just determined to not be phased by anything. All right.
Unless it's a girl who's capable.
Yeah. All right. You guys watch as the air fleet gets closer, but first the gates to Mercurial open. And you see several carriages with various people and troops surrounding them begin to make their way into the city. You see those of you who are more politically inclined, I'll kind of give you the names associated for free, but anything more detailed you'll have to roll for. You see, surrounded by an elite-looking unit of archers, a carriage with the emblem of the Wyborn Kingdom make its way in first. Behind them, the three of you, sans Raccoon, immediately kind of balk as you see the caravan of Governor Barbarous following behind.
Do I see him?
The
You do
last
not
bit
see
cut
them.
out for me.
The caravan of House Barbarous.
Mm.
And no, Gil, you do not see you do see his troops, but you do not see the man himself.
Do any of them look familiar from that night?
Make a perception check.
I have to know.
Lucian's just kind of like hiding her face.
16.
You do recognize a couple of the soldiers, but you do not see any of the faces that jump out, and basically no named characters, to put it bluntly.
So there's
you
no that lieutenant?
Yeah, Lieutenant Vernon is not present.
Oh.
Coming in behind the Barbarous caravan, you see a friendly face, a carriage with the Shadow Lily emblem on it. And as it enters, the president herself and her usual posse, Zephyr, you can see Rejkar the alchemist. Gil, you can see Graham the knight. And Lucian, you see Piper, the president's squire. And they all give a very friendly wave to the crowd. And you see the crowd gets particularly excited and cheering when they see the president. And she kind of very politely and gracefully bows, but wearing a very nice looking white dress. But it has glitter that, rather than the typical silver of glitter, is black, so it creates this almost darkening effect to her outfit, which complements her dark hair and cat ears nicely. And all of the royals begin to disembark. You do now see Governor Barbarous exit with his squire at his side, and you see Queen Wyborn. Gil, you in particular are immediately taken away by the queen's famous beauty. You can see her skin is generally flawless, although you do see what appear to be noticeable scratches and scars running up her arm and up the side of her face, but it does not take away from her beauty at all. And her beautiful curly black hair falls down her back and around her face and creates this almost framing effect as she smiles at the crowd who cheer wildly for her. and the governor just kind of huffs and stamps to stand alongside her. Shadow Lily kind of the president visibly recoiling a bit before sighing and joining them. Eventually, the air fleet makes its way over the city. And seeing it up close now, the air fleet is massive, practically a city in and of itself. And you can see the wires and poles and bridges connecting the various airships that make up this fleet. And after a while, you see a compartment below a particularly large one off to the side open, and ropes begin to descend with a platform in the center. And you see a Tengu sitting in a very high-tech looking chair. You can see visible gears and like tanks for some sort of fuel on it. And as the platform begins to reach the ground, this Tengu smiles and pushes a lever on the side of his chair, and the chair begins to roll off of the platform, which, after a few Tengu disembark to join him, begins to recede back up into the air fleet. The crowd cheers for presumably these all these people of importance, and eventually the crowd begins to calm slightly as the carriages and royal processions begin to continue down the city streets, making their way towards I'll just call it a hotel where they will be staying.
Quick question: do I see any carriages or but you wake it?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
And from my hometown as well.
Go for it.
Oh, 19.
Okay.
Raccoon this entire time is just kind of standing there like, I know I was small, but now I feel smaller. Those are
11.
very large.
All right. Gil, you do not see the emblem of Gyogre anywhere. Lucian, you don't see Wicket either. However, you do see, or rather you can hear in the distance more processions coming. Although you can't identify them by sound alone, it's clear that these aren't the last people to arrive here today.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, father was always fashionably.
Well, I'm sure that there's somebody from my home. Which I'm be passing.
You cut out?
You're
Yeah,
cutting
one
out
more
a lot.
I'm sorry. I said I'm a little bit worried if we're passing ourselves off as servants. Nobody is going to buy that, especially.
Sure.
My family is very well, so don't give me that face.
Sorry, I caught like 3 words.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
That's why I
so
was.
it's really spotty.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
So what were you saying? Passing ourselves off as servants?
Yeah. I said I'm worried that we're passing off as. Hang on.
Discord just doesn't want you to say it.
No,
Or
it's
that
just the
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's just the
that
Wi-Fi. Is that
McDonald's
better?
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, you sound fine for now, at least. So
Okay.
try again.
So what I'm trying to say is that I'm worried because my family is very well.
Well
Always
known.
cuts out like right when you get to it.
I heard that her
It
family is very
literally just-
wise.
Her
Yeah, and
family
then
is
it
well
cuts out.
known.
Okay.
Yeah, my family is well known, and I'm worried that somebody is going to recognize me and not going to buy the story.
Mm.
Well, people
Disguise
rise
it.
and fall.
Do not even say such things to me.
Could
Yeah.
they disguise kit?
She is not. She is not familiar with. She doesn't. She doesn't know what that. Well, she knows what it is. She doesn't know how.
That's odd.
If daggers could come out of Lucian's eyes, they would.
Takes a
he
whole
is
new
bored
meaning to
now.
glaring daggers.
He's bored
Yeah.
now.
So he's gonna go look for some more fun
All right.
towards the carnivals.
Yes, let's go to the carnival.
To the carnival.
Okay.
Zephyr will sigh.
So you guys leave the crowd who they allow the royal processions to pass, and you watch as the air fleet basically begins to idle, but it looks like they're staying where they are, just ominously hovering above the city. And it creates a lot of noticeable spots of shade in the sunlight where you'll just be walking for a while and parts of the fleet will completely block out the sun and leave parts of the street in darkness. And you begin to make your way to the fairgrounds, leaving the crowd who seems to be waiting for the rest of the royal procession. As you guys get there,
Sorry, when they walk under the shadow, Raccoon looks up and she's kind of like, I wonder what would happen.
happen if what?
They fall.
We get crushed.
Very big destruction.
Mm.
But lots of shiny objects.
Yeah. Why don't we just continue wasting
not
our
all
time?
shiny things
Keep
are
going.
good.
Let's continue wasting our time. Come
Well, I mean, what else do you propose we do? We should probably just mingle around.
It depends
No.
on one's definition of wasting time.
And gossip.
Gossip?
My
What
definition of
is
wasting
gossip?
time is spending several days just simply
Hey,
doing
gossip
nothing.
Goyle.
Hey, if you have a problem with us being here early, you should talk to your father.
Actually, if I recall, my father wanted to leave later, but y'all persist wanted to
Yeah, I
leave
will
early.
say in Zephyr's defense, it was you guys' idea to get here early.
Well, I mean, I think it's better to get here early rather than late. Did you not see that line?
Well, I just feel like wouldn't it be a smart idea from a lady who keeps calling people stupid to scout out or do a bunch of investigation before?
What do you think we're doing? We're walking around. That's a scouting.
Sounds like
I
y'all
didn't
are
know
walking.
we were needing the scout.
Well,
It doesn't
it's on the
sound like
to-do
that.
list.
Oh.
We have a to-do list.
It's a pretty big one.
I want to see it so I know what we're doing.
I haven't written it down, but I could.
It's like,
Then that's not the list.
It's a list in my head.
You can do that?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Gil's gonna go find some game.
All right.
we'll play games. Immediately, as I said that, I want to go play some games.
All right, Gil, make me an investigation check to see what you can find, because the fairgrounds is still largely under construction. It is making progress and will be finished soon. It's just not completely set up yet. So
12.
looking around, you do see that places set up to distribute, much to Raccoon's delight, snacks have already been set up. But other than you do see that the kind of baselines for some of the entertainment is being set up, but nothing immediately catches your eye as fully up and functioning. It seems like a lot of it is still being set up and ready to go, as attention is being split between setting up the ball itself and setting up the festival. So it looks like most of the games aren't up and ready yet, but they are. They should be ready soon, from the looks of it.
Well, I'm also looking for a sparring place, like that arena you mentioned last night.
All right.
That I don't know about.
Yeah, that one.
Sorry.
You do see a big arena looking place, but it does not seem to be being used at the moment. Although you do see a what appears to be a somewhat on the small side giant, like small for a giant, but he still towers over all of you. Patiently standing in front and just kind of eating out of a small bag of snacks, presumably from elsewhere in the fairground.
I'm gonna go get some snacks.
I would talk to the giant.
Okay, you do that.
Can Raccoon spot any goodies?
Define goodies. Are we talking
Oh,
trinkets or
boy.
snacks?
Trinkets and food.
All right, make me a perception check.
Okay, let's see if I can not roll my dice across the floor this time and have it attacked by a kitten. As a 12, and what was it you wanted to roll again?
This is perception, since you're just looking for stuff.
Let me check it. Sorry, I didn't have my sheet up.
It's all good.
3, so that's 12 and 3, 15.
Okay. Looking around, you see there's quite a few. There's kind of a healthy variety of different kinds of snacks and drinks being sold. You see that there's just a small stand selling flasks of alcohol. It appears that they're focusing more on the mobility of being able to quickly access drink, since they know they can't compete with places like Nortwick's, like within walking distance of the fairgrounds. You see a variety of different snacks being sold. You see a place selling basically bags of comfortably edible nuts and just kind of mixes of like edible seeds and nuts and berries. And you see a place run by a particularly bulky looking giant selling just basically chunks of meat and mutton on sticks. And while you're just kind of walking the fairgrounds with the party, you do actually see a few like loose change and like small little things that just people kind of dropped while traveling around. Should you choose to pick them up, you can find in total about 3 silver pieces that just have been dropped while people walk around. And you find a small, what appears to be a heavily used and either deliberately discarded or just dropped set of playing cards.
She definitely grabs them.
All right. So you grab a few
She's
stray.
like gremlining around.
Yeah, quite literally. All right. Gil, you approach the giant, the party kind of temporarily splitting to attend to their personal matters. As you approach, he kind of looks down at you and kind of squints and says, "Tournament's not for another few days."
So what are the requirements?
He just kind of stares at you before nodding slowly. "What are you inquiring?"
I want to compete.
He nods very slowly and reaches behind him onto his belt and pulls another one of those like large slabs of tree bark with parchment kind of just taped to it essentially, and prepares to make markings on it and says, "Just you or party?"
Just me.
He nods slowly. "Name?"
And he's not going to give us his real name. He's going to call himself Lee.
One more time.
Lee.
All right.
Lee.
All right. He
So his name is it.
His name is Lee.
all right. Yeah, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
He notes it down with a slow nod and says, "Okay."
So, what exactly is it? Like, What does it foretell?
He stands up slowly and gestures, and you can see through an open gate, just a large, like, circular arena with the floor covered in sand, and you can actually see a few, like, small, like, almost mini, like, palisaded fortifications inside, presumably, like, to allow for some defenses for the fighters, and says, "You'll be on teams and fight the other teams, and if you win, you get money, flowers, and a ticket to the ball."
Teams.
Not bad.
It's gonna be a
Does-
team of one.
I just
Any
realized, does Raccoon have
single
a
combat?
ticket to the ball?
Well, yeah, you could just go as your papa's +1, since he already has one. So you should be.
That's cute.
Yeah. And the giant turns back to you and nods. And you can bet if you want more money.
Okay. And are there ways to practice?
He kind of grumbles a bit, not like impatient, just kind of seems to be like his thinking sound, basically, and says, "In the afternoon, we do practice fights, and whenever the tournament starts, there will be warm-up fights before the battles. You could do that if you want to."
Yeah, I think I'll be back later.
He nods. "Okay."
And I'll flip
Your
the
throat
gold.
dead? Is your throat dead? It hurts mine just hearing this.
I mean, yeah.
I'm used to it. All right, Lucian, what were you heading off to do?
What was I going? Streets. That's what I was going to find. You know, Lucian doesn't normally eat a whole lot, but she figures it's a special occasion.
Okay. So you can make an investigation check if you want to search for other things, but Raccoon, should you ask, is able to point you to the stand selling mutton and the stand selling essentially just large bags of edible seeds, nuts, and berries.
Raccoon wants to check out the fantasy trail mix.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
Lucian wants to look for something she is not. She hates
Wants to look for something what?
sweet.
Okay. Make me an investigation check. Raccoon, you approach the place selling the fantasy trail mix. You see it as being run by a very kind of like very skinny in the muscular department, but you can see he has a noticeable potbelly orc who leans over. "What can I help you with?"
I would like to inquire about the baggie.
He holds up the baggie and kind of shakes it and says, "If you want it, it'll be 2 silvers."
And she's wondering if she should haggle, but it's also only 2 silvers.
Yeah, I was gonna say haggle for like haggle for a basically like a Renaissance fair bag of popcorn.
Listen, that stuff's still expensive. It's like getting popcorn at like a
Movie theater, maybe.
yeah, a movie theater, and it's like $5.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
But she kind of glares, and she did just pick up an extra like 3 silver on the ground anyways, so somebody else can pay it for her. And she goes, "All right, deal," and just kind of like slams it on the counter. Like, she's tiny, so she's having to like reach above, and her fingertips are just barely putting it up on the top of it.
He nods and takes one of the bags off basically a hook they're just mounted on, and holds it down for you. And as soon as you take it, he just immediately takes the coins off the counter and pockets it. "No refunds."
wasn't looking for a refund. I've got food.
Is that what they're calling it now?
I got an 18 on my investigation.
Yes. You can see that they are setting up places to make and sell sweets, but most of them have not been set up yet. However, looking around, you do find a place that Raccoon missed. A place selling
Oh, how dare.
what appear to be like, think of them as like very small hip flasks, basically like a very tiny like carton flask, and you can smell this like incredibly sweet, almost wine-like aroma. And as you approach, you can see the sign. It says they are selling flasks of lotus juice.
Ooh.
Oh,
shit, that sounds alcoholic.
Yeah, Luciana's going to go to there and just lotus juice.
You see that this place is being run by a very like a very pale-skinned and like sickly-looking giant, kind of hunched over and sitting cross-legged, and you can see him visibly like sniveling. It seems like he's kind of sick, and he looks down at you and says, "Is alcohol?"
Well, I mean, obviously, but like, what kind?
He's just a rude person.
Yeah. Lucian's got an attitude this session.
She's always
Oh,
had an
that's
attitude.
Lucy for you.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't
always had
know.
an attitude.
Amanda has a slight headache.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The sickly-looking giant looks to the flasks and looks back to you and says, "It's made with fruit. It's real sweet.
How much is it?
It's a gold piece."
All right. I will buy 2, and I will give him.
All right. He takes the gold pieces in his massive fingers and gently hands you the flasks. And as soon as he's pocketed the gold and you take the flask, he immediately sneezes into his hands and wipes them on his shirt.
The look on Lucian's face is like, do I want to drink this now?
Does Raccoon see her going to the stall?
The sneeze of the giant catches your attention, and you turn and see Lucian with 2 very small, like essentially handheld flasks of a very sweet-smelling liquid.
She pitters over.
Curiously.
Listen, that is exactly how it is. That's why I say she pitters, she pats, and she skitters.
Lucian will bend over down level. I'm sorry.
How tall are you, anyways?
I think-
5'3".
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the skip.
I think it was like 2'11".
Yeah, Raccoon's 2'11".
Oh, so you're taller than me.
Anyway, so she's going to offer Raccoon the second lotus juice.
She's going to sniff at it curiously and kind of look towards the dude, kind of like squinty-eyed, because like she works in a tavern and she's like, he doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way.
Can I do an
Looking
insight
at
on
it.
anything?
Yeah, can I do one too?
So are you trying to see if it's like unhealthy? Like, what are you looking for?
But like, is it okay to drink?
Yeah, I'll say make me an investigation check if you're trying to check the drink itself. And as you're doing this, he just wipes his massive arm. Yeah.
Alright, you said investigation?
Yes.
That
Okay.
is
I got the 12.
15 plus 3, that's 18.
All right. Lucian, you don't spot anything out of the ordinary. Raccoon, you recognize this actually as a very exotic and expensive form of wine that is occasionally actually sold at Nortwick's. lotus juice, or just the wine made from the lotus plant, is a very expensive and rare wine that basically has a very calming, soothing effect on the person who drinks it, and has a very infamously sweet smell and flavor. Although your papa always warned you to not drink it yourself and to be careful with how much you give to people because it is incredibly addictive.
Oh.
Lucien,
She
drink it.
sniffs at it and she sniffs at it a moment, and then she squints her eyes, and then she like grabs hold of Lucien's like pants leg, and she yanks on it, and she says, "Don't, no."
What is wrong with it? Is it dangerous?
It's like drug drink. You get stuck drinking it, and you can't stop.
Oh my god, it's drugs?
I said it was
Is
sweet.
it cocaine? Is the amount inside the flasks like enough to get addicted off of?
Yeah, with your check, and since you've like served this before, definitely not. You presume that's actually why they're being sold in such small flasks.
Mm.
This you gather that this amount would probably keep you sedated for a couple hours at most.
Sounds like fun.
She looks at it and she says, "It should be okay to not like be hurt from it, but like do it when you're going to sleep."
Mm. Yeah, I think just to keep my wits about myself, I'll listen. Is it like, can I close it, or is it like?
Yeah. It's a closable flask.
Okay, so I'll close
it's just
it
very
up
small.
Okay, I'll close it up and put it in my.
All right.
Raccoon,
So
does the same and puts it in her pocket, and she says, "Thank you very much for it, though I've never had it."
You're welcome. You know, sometimes it's nice.
as you
I'm gonna
guys,
pretend I heard that.
I said sometimes it's nice to be nice.
Okay.
the giant waves to you guys as you leave. Come again, and you hear him immediately like sneeze again, like audible from like across the fairgrounds.
Raccoon's
Do
like, "Ugh, he's
Do you need a
closer than the-"
handkerchief?
No. He will cover it.
I don't care. I mean, he can.
You will want to
have it.
burn it.
I don't want it back, especially because of that fact.
Do you think he's going to use it?
Here, great sound effect.
Oh my god.
God.
Somebody said help.
All right.
Allergies.
Just
I'm in close quarters with this.
My head's spinning.
Jesus. Gotta be careful with that, man.
Did you blow out your brain?
It's just like a cartoon, like your brain comes out of your nose.
Or hard
just-
enough that it just explodes out of the back of your head. Just
Yeah, Lucian's just gonna walk away.
All right. You leave the sneezy giant. All right. So, does anyone have, just in general, have anything else they'd like to do here at the fairgrounds?
Raccoon wants to look for any more dropped items or anything that she could possibly pilfer. Listen, she's a bard, but she acts like a rogue.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'll say make me an investigation check with disadvantage because you've already pilfered quite a few things. So.
Saying that as there's a rogue in the party.
Okay, I just want to say Raccoon not like too focused on doing anything, just like trips over something and just falls flat on her face, and that's it.
That one.
3.
Yeah, Raccoon. You're just so like, even without drinking it, the aroma from the lotus juice like causes you to kind of stumble. And Lucian, you just see Raccoon like just tripped on the ground, but with just a broad, like kind of dopey looking smile.
Face plant.
Are you okay?
Probably.
Lucian will try to help her up.
I presume they cooperate. Just starts wriggling.
Starts acting like a cat, wanting to be let down.
I love how
Kissing and
everyone plays.
everything, just
Yeah, I was gonna say I love how everyone plays Goblin PCs as cats. All right, so
no, if anything, she's more like a ferret.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
We got some good ones going on.
All right, so does anyone have any further business at the fairgrounds?
Nope, not at the fairgrounds.
Not right now.
Okay, so after getting your drinks, your snacks, and meeting back up after your encounters with sneezy giants and still under construction carnival equipment, you guys meet back up.
Trauma from it.
Yeah.
You guys
This
meet
is
back
like
up.
I've got to wash my hands now for 20 seconds.
They hear someone sneeze and flinch.
Yeah.
yeah, an orc passing by just kind of sneezes, but he like grace like away from crowds and into the elbow for him.
Or they hear like a tiny little.
yeah, this massive hulking orc walks by you guys, just kind of exploring. Yeah, and he just does it.
Oh my goodness.
So we're all regrouped now.
Yeah. So you guys group up with your fantasy trail mix and fantasy drugs in tow.
Raccoon's just steadily working her way through the bag and offers like a handful to Lucian.
Oh, thank you. How is it taste?
It is actually surprisingly nice.
It tastes like nuts and berries.
Yeah, like the worst you can say about it is that it's cheap. Like it has that distinctive like it's like it doesn't taste bad and like you don't regret buying it, but it is worth 2 silver.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, to somebody like Lucian, it'd probably be like getting something from the dollar store and be like,
Yeah, I was
"Oh
gonna
my
say it's like
God, what
dollar
is
menu
this?"
basically. So you guys are grouped up. What would you like to do?
So what did we learn?
Raccoon offers the others some of her.
I think she's gonna take it. I think there's like a cold or something going around because like there were like 4 giants sneezing.
You hear a in the background.
We should probably wash our hands when we get back to.
Topical.
Learn.
Such valuable lessons.
You said that there was a tournament?
Yeah, signed up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's money in I could a ticket to.
We already have tickets.
Yeah, but they have to go as a servant.
Point well taken, I guess.
There's
At least someone did something.
also there's good gossip.
There's gossip. What kind of gossip?
Let them listen.
Well, I'm going
for
back
rumors.
later. I'm gonna talk to some of the other trainers. They hear everything.
If you want to know something, talk to the help. The help will always know something.
They fucking help.
Are they though? They're usually servants are not that strong.
Speaking of the
This is just going literally over Raccoon's head.
Raccoon, you are thoroughly enjoying your fantasy trail mix.
She really is.
I mean, if that's
many nuts in her hands and nuts and berries in her
hands. If that's what you want to do, I think maybe stay in the tavern, maybe chat up some people.
That is some very bad cutting out.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It happens. I literally working off of like fast food Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And they were saying like maybe check for gossip at the tavern, basically.
Yeah.
But for now, I want to go back to the tavern do some more gambling.
You have a problem.
Yes.
Some
Yes, I do.
gambling.
All right.
Seriously, do you need to like go to a therapist?
What is that?
You are so uncultured. She's just gonna walk.
What's a
All right.
therapy?
Usually my type of therapy. Well, my type of
Lucy,
therapy is hitting something.
What's a therapist?
A therapist is like you talk to them and they help you feel better about things.
We just
like
hit
Larkin.
things.
Yes, they're not usually related to you.
He's not related to me.
They're like a doctor, like a healer, but like for your brain.
Oh, she has
Raccoon is just the embodiment of just that I forget the name of it, but that manga is just like, yes, I understand. Doesn't understand at all.
yes, exactly.
I
At
need to
least
get
he
edited
tries.
that sometime tonight.
Well,
yeah,
maybe
so
you can. We can go back to the tavern, and you can show me. I'm sorry, I cut out. One of your performances.
One of what?
one of your performances.
performances. I'd like
Oh.
to see that.
Raccoon playing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd like that.
So, Zephyr, are you going to follow them? It seems like they're all heading back to Nortwicks for now. All right. What's on your agenda?
Well,
Color me surprised.
well, Zephyr wants to get something done on business.
Would you business?
Yeah,
Risky biznew.
but Zephyr will. I think where could he scout out? How far away is like the mansion or like the place all the nobles are gonna be at, right?
You can easily reach it. Like it basically it's a bit of a walk. But you can get there. It's basically across the city, like on the complete opposite side of it. And even from here, you can see that it has like very wide and well kept gardens surrounding it, just for show and for making things look nice.
Yeah. All right, I would like to go over there and scout it out.
Okay. So, as Raccoon, Gil, and Lucian begin to make their way back to Nortwicks to relax, and Zephyr, business in mind, begins to make his way towards the mansion where the nobility and other high-ranking guests to the summer ball are going to be staying. That's where we're going to end tonight's session.
No.
I knew you were going to. I knew it.
Can't end with Raccoon having a performance.
We start the show with a performance, so it's like it starts with a bang.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I figured that'd be a good place to pick up. So, anything you guys want to mention before we wrap up?
No.
Yes.
So I'm
Ready
curious.
for that tournament.
Yeah, I was like, I'm curious about
You're
the
ready
tournament.
for the tournament.
Didn't he say it was a team-on-team fight? So it's
Yeah. They said that. Basically teams fighting teams.
Does
so-
the entire party get to fight?
so
Well,
Gil
not.
ver-
Yeah, well, he signed up alone, so.
so
yeah.
He
Gil
signed up
versus a
alone.
party.
Yeah,
But
basically
there's
they'll.
also, he can also do single combat.
Is there single combat?
Yeah, he signed up for the tournament, but basically, when the tournament starts, there's warm-up fights, and then before the ball starts, basically, there's just kind of fights in the late afternoon, just for like entertaining guests.
So there are single fights.
Presumably.
Presumably.
But Gil's gonna have to find out. He didn't exactly press for specifics. So Gil
He
is
got enough.
Gil is now signed up for a tournament. Party cohesion is arguably worse than when we started.
I mean,
But could be worse.
Oh
Zephyr-
God, no.
Zephyr is heading out to do some scouting, and Lucian and Raccoons need to be forming a fast friendship. We will, of course, thanks everyone so much for watching. Thanks you guys so much for playing, and we will see you all next week.